Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Good evening. It is 11:11 Eastern. This evening, what are we? I don't even know the date right now. um, let's see. Oh my gosh, I can't even see this because I have something on my calendar I wanted to share. Anyways, it is the 16th, Friday the 16th of December 2022, and I'm very excited to welcome you to the recording because there's nobody live with me in studio here right now. I This is a very last minute inspired episode of Broader Perspective Wisdom, and I want to thank you for bringing this to light. There's some announcements I'd like to make, and then I'm going to share the reading that I did this evening, and yeah, for whoever is listening and getting value from that, wonderful. And if there's anything you would like to hear on this program or any of my programs, I want to start out by encouraging you to go to contact.growthseekerswelcome.com. That's CONTACT, right? Contact dot GROWTHSEEKERSWELCOME. And there you're going to find a contact form. So if you have any feedback, any questions, any desires that you would like to share directly with me, please do so. Don't hesitate, and I will get back with you. This program, all of my programs are really a collaboration with you. And so what you ask for, that is what emerges. We do. My gosh, I had brought up a note. Oh, yes. So earlier today, I had a wonderful conversation with a dear friend named Natalie Jennings. And if you enjoy the cover for this program, The Broader Perspective Wisdom, or most of my other programs, not all, but many of the other programs. She is the incredible photographer who took those photos. And she is also, in addition to being a very talented photographer and businesswoman who teaches photographers how to grow their business, she also plays with tarot, however you want to say that, and other divination tools. And so we had a conversation today because I have really wanted to find somebody who was like minded with me about these different tools and resources and could have a conversation that is helpful for people who are exploring and looking to understand themselves and their spirituality and their journey and want to play more and be in more control of their their understanding rather than turning it over to somebody else to reflect to them all the time. And so we're going to be talking on Tuesday, December 20th at 2:15 Eastern. We're going to be talking about that, just that exact thing about how do we use tools to help us to make sense of things. And it's going to be a wonderful conversation, and you are definitely welcome to join. We'd love to take questions and have other commentary in this interactive forum on Fireside. So again, I don't even know what I named it. I've put it up. The details aren't fully there, but it has been scheduled. Tarot with Natalie Jennings, um, December 20th at 2:15 Eastern. I also just booked just a few hours ago. Very excited to have my friend Miriam Schulman. She's currently doing a book tour for her new book. She's a brilliant artist who has been helping other artists profit from their art without selling out. So there's this beautiful balance. And a lot of times, artists and creatives, we get caught up in not wanting to sell our work because it then sometimes feels like, oh, but then that's for somebody else, and there's this back and forth that creatives and artists go through. It's very common, and Miriam is absolutely brilliant at helping to bridge the gaps and make sense of things for the artists and help them to feel amazing selling their art. And so we're going to be talking with her at 5:15 Eastern on Wednesday, January 4th. And again, that was just scheduled. More details will be posted, but if you want to set a reminder for yourself, go ahead and do that. So now let me I think that's all the announcements for now. I'm going to pull up my reading from this evening, and I love I love using external tools from time to time to help me make sense of things. So even though I have a very strong sense of intuition, um and I can relax enough to understand. Sometimes it's exhausting. And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes you just want a break. You want somebody else to tell you what to do. And so I have found in my life that when I ask others, it's important for me to be very specific of who I ask for thoughts and perspective and who I share things with. The majority of people who I've met throughout my life and people who supposedly love me or have to love me or have known me for a long time, et cetera, they are not the ones who actually are able to, quote, handle me or give me feedback in a way that I can receive it and that it's helpful. And this is not because they don't care. This is because they just don't understand yet themselves how to see another without judgment. This is a an undertaking that very few people choose to go through. This ability to suspend judgment and to be unconditional in their beingness. Most people are disinterested in becoming that, or historically have been. And we are in this new time and space where more and more and more growth seekers are coming to be, and consciousness is elevating, whether you like it or not, whether you want to subscribe to it or not, whether you want to believe it or not. It really doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is that every day, more and more and more humans are finding that they don't have to live an ordinary existence. They've been conditioned to believe that, but they are finding that that is not necessarily the case anymore. And so, little by little, many people are getting more curious and more willing to wonder about what's possible and getting a little bit more brave to ask questions. But still, most people who I have met throughout my life, if they're still paying attention to me, I'm certain think I'm batshit crazy. And that's perfectly fine. And I can be batshit crazy to them because they are not the ones who are going to be continuing. And this is something that's really difficult for folks as they go through their becoming and they are evolving and becoming more free in who they are and releasing attachments to beliefs that have kept them hostage and held back, and releasing people who have not been in service of them, but who were a part of their journey for a period of time. This is something that's really, really going along. It's really happening a lot now. And you may be have experienced it yourself, this sort of, you've had people in your life for quite some time and it was stable, for lack of a better term. It's fairly stable, and even in the instability of some relationships, there was a comfort in knowing what to expect. And so many people have been, over these past few years especially, deciding that that's not good enough for them anymore. They're not willing to continue just um, surviving, just getting by, just keeping the status quo, and they are wanting for more, and they are releasing things that they did not believe they would be able to release, and that is people, that is careers, that is all sorts of things, and they are finding more freedom and more joy in an alternative. But this is a very quiet and gentle path, and it's not easy for the people who take it. It's the path less traveled, so it's actually quite painful and it's quite difficult. But for the majority of society, they have no idea what's going on because they are tuned in to other things, to the loud things. And in order to remove yourself from those loud things, you have to literally tune out of it. And so, that said, this is an exciting time. It's really an exciting time for everyone, everybody who wants it to be an exciting time, right? There's a lot of people who don't want to see that. But if you are excited about what is becoming, then yay. And I want to encourage you to continue with your curiosity and continue um, with your inquiry. And again, this is a safe space that I'm creating here on this channel. And you're welcome to contact me anytime, contact.growthseekerswelcome.com, or you can reach out on social media, send me a personal message, and ask anything. And there's no judgment, and I'm happy to be of service and support you in whatever it is that's going on for you. Um, so I have been, um, sometimes I have awarenesses and I have these downloads of information, for lack of a better term. And when they happen, there's a lot of gaps for me that I really, 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 really just want somebody to like hug me and make it okay and like let me explain and express, here's what's going on for me. And I really, really want somebody to just hold me and say, okay, just, pour out and express, and I'm here and I love you no matter what. And my experience has, in the 47 year or almost 47 years that I've been walking this earth, I've not had that. I've had glimpses of it. I've had little times, a few times and in a few ways, but overall, that I've never had an experience of anybody sustaining that for me. And so that is part of my growth seeking. I know it's possible, and I'm very patient. At the same time, there are things that I need to understand, and so I'm becoming more and more impatient about waiting for other people to be ready to be in communion with me. And so, with that, I ask, I don't receive. And so, I resource, I find it from another place. And oftentimes, almost always, it comes back to within. Right. And I talk about this all the time: go within, not without. The more you are listening to yourself and not others, the better you're going to feel. But there is value in getting feedback from others because um, it helps to put what you're experiencing into different perspectives. And as long as you can appreciate the other perspective without feeling condemned and without this judgment about they are wrong and you are right, or vice versa, then you can have a very healthy experience of playing with people and enjoying the various perspectives. For me, I am I am very fast moving in many ways as far as iteratively and with awarenesses, and I'm so passionate about understanding that I cannot wait for somebody else to get up to speed. I keep moving and moving and moving. And so oftentimes that means that I am moving alone. And over the years, I have released many divination tools because they are not of service to me generally. But there is one deck, there is one tarot deck that I was introduced to maybe, what are we now? We're 2022, about to be 2023. Um, Gosh, maybe like 8 or no, more than that. No, probably about 7 or 8. That's what it was. 7 or 8 years ago. Um, I was gifted a deck from a friend whose other friend was a psychic and he passed on, and she was charged with finding new homes for all of his tools. And so she gifted me this deck, and it had so much power, and it's so beautiful and so desirable, and it's amazing. And so it has been something that I've really just enjoyed keeping and playing with. And it's called the Good Tarot from, or Tarot, however you want to say that. The creator is a woman by the name of Colette Baron Reed, and it is stunning in my opinion. And the beautiful thing about this particular deck that really stands out or stood out to me, and I appreciate to this day, is that over the decades of of tools that I've played with, and divination tools, and readings that I've done, um, oftentimes the even the beautiful decks, the creator of the deck brings fear into their translations. And I just don't believe that's necessary. I don't need to do a reverse reading. I don't believe in the oh beware, right? Because I know that peace is what we want. I know that joy is what we want. We want ease, we want flow, we want fun, we want exuberance, we want good. We don't want bad, right? We don't want the lack of good. We don't want other than good. And so there's no need, in my opinion, for anything that is not good. If it's not wanted, if it's not good, it's unnecessary. And so it's beautiful that this deck has been created with that same perspective. And again, it's called The Good Tarot, and so there is no reverse reading. Every reading is an affirmative reading. It is a contemplative reading. It is an opportunity to explore and be in positivity and possibilities and pleasure and all the good things. And so this evening, I've had a wonderful day, wonderful, wonderful day. It's been an incredible day. And at the same time, there's been a lot of messages that have been coming through, and there's been a lot that's going on all at the same time. And I really, really, really felt a strong inclination to have some specific questions answered. And not from me, because I already understand what I understand, but I wanted to get different perspectives from certain people that I have come to know and love and trust. And I really, I was hoping to receive some guidance and feedback from some of these people. And one of these people was so forthcoming and kind and willing to dialogue with me, and it was absolutely wonderful, and I got so much out of it. And I also really still felt like there's more for me to learn. And I'm not satisfied right now. I'm not satiated at the moment. I'm still hungry. I'm still hungry for understanding in this moment, in this evening. I don't want to go to bed until I feel complete with the day, with the evening. And so, because others were not at the same place of interest as I was at the time, I turned to my deck, the Good Tarot, because I know that when I feel anxious, or when I feel disconnected, when I feel like I really need a hug, I know that going to this deck can bring me peace and can help me get perspective on that which feels out of control at the moment. And so this reading that I did was so helpful to me. It felt so good. And as I was reading it, I felt other other people who have been tuning into me and who have been tuning in with me. And I felt like I wanted to share this reading. And so this is the first time I'm actually sharing a reading, because even though many times I have been aware that the messages I get are actually usually not for me, but I haven't shared in this way before. And so thank you personally. You're listening to me in this new way and without the mask and without the bravado and without the marketing bits and without the hooks and all that, right? Just showing up and being and you still tuning in has been such a gift to me in my becoming and in my releasing those false beliefs and that ego focused self. And of course, we are all human and ego is human. And so, of course, there's always going to be that. But the more I get to manage my ego, the more I feel supported in managing my ego, the better it gets for me and for everyone else that is interacting with me, whether it's walking down the street or on a telephone call or in business or anything. Because the better I feel, the better I make others feel. And it's the same for you. So, with that, um, I'm going to go with what I feel like going with because this is the first time. So, um, the way Colette's deck is, she recommends either a one card draw, and that's really for a very specific, like quick thing on one piece, but for something that's maybe more, what's the word? Fragmented. Um, for something that's more complex, for something that's more overwhelming, that you really can't get a good focus. Like, well, the one card draw is great when you know exactly what you're focusing on, but when you're feeling more discombobulated, a three card draw is really lovely. And she recommends that card number one is the present situation. That's represented in card number one. And card number two is the coming into being. And card number three is continuing on this path. And so the cards that I pulled this evening were the sun for the present situation, page of air for coming into being, and for continuing on this path, the seven of water. And I just found it to be so beautiful. And I'm going to explain what each of these cards says. And if we have folks join in the studio before I'm done and they'd like to ask questions, or get into dialogue about going deeper beyond what the card says, then I will love to do that. And if it is still just me here with you, and you're not able to respond in real time, then I'm going to wrap it up. And again, you can always contact me for any further questions or input or anything like that. But that's how this is going to go. So, all right, let's get back to the sun. Um, so, the sun is what is currently representing our current state of being. And this is 19 of the major arcana. This is the sun and abundance. This is what the sun represents in this space, abundance. And she says at this time everything is possible and everything I need excuse me. At this time everything is possible and everything I need to know is illuminated. Projects come to fruition, relationships flourish, and my growth is assured. This is a time of plenty. It's important that I share this abundance with others. I am deeply grateful. And this was such a perfect pull for me this evening, and maybe for you as well, as this is exactly what's going on in this time. I feel so alive, so abundant, so filled with possibilities, and everything that I need to know has been illuminated, and I feel so clear. And even though I'm curious about things, that's part of the play, that's part of the fun, the uncovering of the path and putting the puzzle together. But the puzzle feels so wonderful. It feels like I've got all of the pieces spread out on the table, and everything I need is there. Everything that is going to put the beautiful picture together is on the table for me right now. And it's just a matter of how and when I put the pieces together. um, so I just thought this was such a perfect card to draw for current situation this evening. And all right, so or the present situation, she calls it. And then the next card that I pulled, this is for coming into being. And so that's the Page of Air. And the Page of Air represents new ideas, a theory not yet proven, curiosity, new focus. And so, again, this was just such a perfect pull for me, as that is exactly what was going on in my curiosity, and my desire to pull cards came from that. So, I am in presently a state of abundance and everything is wonderful. But what's coming in is new ideas, a theory not yet proven, curiosity, and new focus. And this is so true. And this is part of this deep question that I really wanted to understand other people's perspectives on, because it's not something I've ever studied. It's not something that I've ever really cared to understand before. But today it came up for me through inspiration that that is something I really, really, really want to understand now. I want to know, what does this mean? And not what does it mean by like looking it up on Google, because, again, opinions are everywhere, right? And so I wanted to know what people who I already trust and respect think about this particular topic. People who have studied this, who actually care about this, because I don't need to study it. I already have an understanding that I received through divine presence. Um, and I would like to understand other people's opinions of that which I received. So it was a perfect card. And the mantra that she shares on this calls for greater investigation as we've only scratched the surface. I don't really know. That's interesting. If I explore this way of thinking, what can I learn? And I said mantra, but these are actually the questions she recommends asking self. This calls for greater investigation as we've only scratched the surface. That's just a statement. I don't really know. That's a statement. That's a complete statement. It is okay not to know. And that's interesting. That's okay to be excited or interested in something that you don't have an opinion of yet. And if I explore this way of thinking, what can I learn? And the really neat thing is that I've been giving this advice to people all day, many people all day, encouraging them to release their attachment to expectation and release their attachment to past beliefs, and just allow themselves to be interested and curious and explorers. So I just thought that was really, really fun. Um, and then for the final, which is continuing on this path, meaning that if we keep going as we're going, what can be expected is imagination, fantasy, artistic endeavors, co creative abilities unleashed. And it's a beautiful card, the Seven of Water, that really shows all of this fun and fancy and play and beauty and becoming and exploration and all of that. And so the mantra that she shares, or the script that she's written, is now is the time to tune in to the infinite possibilities that exist and begin to play with them. Everything begins in the world of imagination, and I seize the opportunity to dream. I allow my intuition and desire to blend in an alchemical way. I can't say this word. Alchemical way. Forming something new. Castles in the air can become castles on the ground when I release rigidity, bend the rules, and remain flexible and open. Limitations and boundaries give way to manifestation. Spirit never doubts the power of possibility, and neither will I. And if you tuned into my broadcast earlier today, which was a part of the Meaningful Messenger series, it was on leveraging Fireside as a way to build your tribe. These are the very things that I spoke about. And again, in multiple conversations today, the same things have come up. And so I just had such fun with this reading this evening. I really enjoyed it so much. It tickled my fancy, for lack of a better term, which is why I decided to schedule this broadcast at this time. And with that, I hope that you've enjoyed it. I hope that you have received whatever it is you were seeking from it. Feel free to get in touch anytime. And until the next broadcast, I love you so much and I wish you a wonderful rest of your day.